making your way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to two guys brew ha-ha, Cold Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode? All right, everyone, thanks for listening to another episode of BrewHaha with Sean McDonald. Some guy's hiding his phone.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
That voice
welcome
is
to BrewHaha.
That voice is horrible compared to the one that we have.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh gosh.
It's all about the rhythm.
Sean from Cold Street Brewery, wear your Full Buddy Cast / BrewHaha attire. Get 15% off.
Do we have hats yet? We should get some hats.
We don't have any hats yet. I haven't won in Vegas yet. Once I win in Vegas, hats are on the way. So everyone root for me to win. We got a special edition today. It's an episode that
Every edition is special.
Everything is special, but we got an extra special edition. We actually have with us a guest. This guest also is a Beertender at Cold Street Brewery. You'll be able to see her on what nights?
On Sunday and Monday.
Only. Exclusive.
Sometimes on Fridays.
Maybe
Fridays
on
and
a
Saturdays.
Yeah.
That is
event
the
nights.
voice that you're hearing is Emily. What's the last name, Emily?
Scott.
Emily Scott?
My married name is
Are you related to
Scott.
any Scots in town?
Probably.
There's several Scots. Is your husband from around here?
He was born and raised in Auburn, kind of Black Diamond. But we live like
Wait, hold
right
on to
next
that
door.
beer. Pass the beer.
I'm going to. I'm pouring this. I'm going to give you the special pour. Have you heard about the pour?
No.
The booby pour.
It's because I'm not strong enough to actually. And so what I do is I rest the bottom. I pour it down.
It's such a talent.
Can you not pour from the other hand?
It's as if I'm nursing my hosts and my guests. So here you go.
I appreciate that.
Thank
you.
Yeah. It's a special club that's gotten a pour like that. So
Yeah.
Where'd you put the cat? Oh, you got the cat. What are we drinking? What's this beer of the week?
All right, beer of the week is our double IPA. So we're bringing this on. We haven't had an Imperial in a while. The Imperial Stout ran out, I want to say like last week, maybe the week before.
Maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
So this one I waited on it a little bit because I felt it came off pretty strong when I first took it out of the fermenter.
Yeah, it's good.
It still comes off pretty strong.
It's super strong. It tastes delicious.
It smells good.
It's and we're drinking it out of a what I like to call Swiffer.
He's reading out the board. A snifter?
A Swiffer.
Snifter.
A snifter?
Snifter, like a brandy snifter.
I thought we'd later
And that's not a brandy
clean the pod
snifter.
room with it.
That would be a tulip.
This one is.
This is a
right?
tulip?
Yeah, they're both tulips. Yeah.
Actually, this is a tulip. I don't know if you know this about when it comes to...
That's a thistle. We talked about that 4 episodes ago? So anything
you
that's
guys,
rounded...
I'm looking at a poster right now. I know what I'm talking about. Sean doesn't
Anything
know what
that's
I'm talking
rounded and goes long, elongated is a tulip. Anything that is rounded but then
I have a
has
tulip
that
then.
extra little loop on the top,
Yeah.
that's a thistle.
about. Okay.
But we're drinking out of proper glassware.
Proper glassware.
I'm drinking out of a wine glass. Well, it's not. It's a beer glass.
It
but
actually
it's-
looks more like
it's-
a chalice.
No. Chalice has shit around it. Anyway.
I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, chalice would be what's that guy that sings till sweat drips off my ball from the windows to the wall? That's a chalice.
Yeah. Little Wayne.
Little-
Or no. Little John.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, so he
What?
drinks out of a chalice. This would be closer to a wine glass. Same concept. It's big open mouth.
Big open mouth.
Big open top. It's rounded on the bottom so you can put your hands on the bottom and kind of warm it up. And then it opens up on the top.
We're going to rename it the Travis. Big open mouth. No, it doesn't ever shut. Warm. Put your hand on his bottom. Warm your hands up.
Doubtful.
I think at this point it doesn't matter what it is. You just want something named after you.
I really do.
Wants to name everything after him.
Emily's hung out with me
A little
for
bit
like a
of
total
everything.
of like 2 hours. Well, not even that, but a total of like an
Maybe.
hour and a half. And she's like, I figured you out already. And you're absolutely correct.
So double IPA. So IPAs are a hoppy thing. This has twice as much ingredients as a normal IPA. So it has twice as much like kick behind it.
I can taste the kick.
Yeah. So we're at 9.2%.
Hopefully, we got Ubers. I ain't driving you guys
Right?
home.
Yeah, we can walk to the brewery, get some more beers.
Rachel will drive us home.
So we have 3 different hops in here. We have the Magnum, which is the main body hop that I use. It's a great, very solid bitterness, but it's not like drying bitterness. It's like a sweet bitterness. And then Centennial and Cascades. Cascades are like a Northwest hop. They're all 3 Northwest hops, but the Cascade is the more our Cascade range. So
Nice.
yeah.
Is it found in the Cascades?
At the end of the Cascades, yeah,
Nice.
like Willamette Valley
All right.
area, Oregon.
We're going to get some beer. We got some beer nerd stuff coming up, right?
Yeah, we were going to talk about hops.
Yeah. Are we wanting to move in there right now, or do you got a little more you want to talk about?
No, I'm good on the beer of the week. So it's double IPA. It's on tap right now.
Speak of the devil.
Exactly.
Speak of the devil.
So we had
Well, here, let me tell the story.
Okay, go
Okay.
for it.
So we have a Patreon. When you go, if you ever want to help support the podcast and BrewHaha or Holland with Hollenbeck or Garage Night or whatever we do, we have a monthly Patreon subscription that you can sign up with. It's on patreon.com, patreon.com. Search Full Buddy Cast, full word. And then you can see the tiers. We have a $5 tier, $10 tier, $20 tier, so on and so forth. Well, we just had a new person I got an email notification yesterday saying, hey, you got someone new. And the name is Anon.
Anon.
Yeah. And it was a point where obviously this person was anonymous, but they sent a message, and in it sounds like they are beer geeky, like they like to talk beer.
Awesome.
And they also asked a few questions.
Yep.
So I'm going to hit you with some of those questions if you're cool with it.
Always down. Yep.
And I just want to say thank you very much for the monthly subscription. We'll send that BrewHaha shirt. You should be actually have gotten it already when this thing is aired, hopefully. All right, so here we go. Question is, this is what we got from Anon. Hello, great podcast. I'm a big fan of BrewHaha and would love a BrewHaha t-shirt. Get that 15% when you go on down there. Mm-hmm. Wearing it. Keep up the good work. Happy to support your work. Also, does Sean indeed have a beard?
I don't. Yeah.
No.
It's a little tiny thing.
He
Like a
sounds
scruff on my chin.
He sounds like a guy who would have a really awesome beard. Regards.
Beer in a beard is my call name on Untapped.
Oh, really? So if they want to follow you and trade Pokemon.
No, if you want to follow me and trade beer stories on Untapped, like
Tap
Beer
the
Radio.
app.
Yep.
And then I replied, said, great having you, blah, blah, blah. Then they said, hey, thanks. I am one of your listeners that truly enjoys the beer geek aspect of this podcast. So very encouraging us. They're like, hey, this Travis guy, not a ha-ha. Maybe we just need to stick with brew and go beer geek the entire time.
Ouch.
Come on.
Kind of hurt. I do have a few beer-based questions. Number one.
Okay.
And hey, guys, listen, when you become a Patreon or if you just want to message us,
Anybody in general can ask questions.
we will definitely
Yeah,
read
question, I got a
your
beer
question and you hit us up. We're answering it. The priority goes to the Patreons, though. Number one, I understand that IBUs are measured up to 100 and that it stands for International Bitters Unit.
Yep.
But how is it assigned? Is it based on taste, or is it more of a scientific-based process?
No.
Process.
Yeah, so this is actually so a lot of breweries, like, they'll on their label they'll actually list above 100. You're completely correct. Beyond 100, taste cannot fathom anything beyond 100. But in the way they calculate it is international bittering units. There are units assigned to the bitter level, and it's scientific. It's how they break it down. This also comes when they harvest hops. It's harvesting anything, any type of fruit or vegetable or whatever. Season to season, it can change. So when they take it into their facility, they're measuring how bitter it is before they start processing it, and then they know how to, like, a lot of times, like, different hops are blended together to kind of balance it out, so it will always end up at the same IBUs as what they're, like, selling it for. It's a mathematical equation. International bittering units is what it's called, and it's basically the alpha acids. So each hop has a different level of alpha acid, and that would be the strongest acid that's in there. There's 3 different acids in hops, and that's how it's measured. Now, like I said, a lot of breweries will say, like, this is a IPA that's 115 IBUs, which mathematically it adds up, but taste level, you will never taste anything higher. We can't, as humans, we can't taste anything higher than 100. That's why, kind of correct on saying that 100 is the max, but 100 is the max for taste, not for math, not for what's in the actual beer.
So to recap, what's an IBU? Just kidding.
International bittering unit.
So what you're saying is, typically it goes off of science.
Yep.
Especially after 100. Anything after 100 is definitely science. It's definitely math.
Well,
it's not taste. It's not by taste.
It's science the whole time. They break down the unit. They break down the hop to see how bitter it is. They have testing things. There's a great class actually over Yakima Chief. Once a year does a class. It's beer and hops, and it's normally in June. It's like late June. I want to say like the 20th, give or take. Obviously, it didn't happen last year. You can Google it. You have to sign up for it. There's I forget how many spots. There aren't very many spots, but it's like it is the best class in the whole entire United States, and they go through everything.
Does it cost a little money? Like, is it free or
it's not free? It does cost money, but in the
grand scheme of things,
I want to say it's like $100. Like, so okay. It's a 3-day class. It's like a weekend, and you go over to Yakima, and they walk you through the fields, and then they go through the process in the field. This is why we grow it here. This is why these hops. You know, there's all kinds of different farming aspects to it. Like, we can't have this hop next to that hop because of this. There's cross contamination. They grow this high. That's why we start here and it goes up the hill, and this one gets taller. You know, each variety gets taller up the hill. There's all kinds of different, like, hops is a pretty deep conversation. There's all kinds of different angles on it, and there's and every year there's more hops coming out. Colleges like WSU is always trying to cross pollinate these hops to that hop to create this different, like, element to a hop, different flavor from a hop. So it's always growing, it's always changing. That class, like, goes through the process, like how they harvest it, how they dry it, how they they package it, and then they put like a CO2 purge on it so that there's no CO2 like actually touching it, so it'll last longer. And then they send it to different brewers all around the world, and it's always like 100%. Like, you can get a year later, and it's just like the day it got packaged. So
now, when it comes to IBUs, are there people out there that can actually taste and figure out to a very good degree?
Text actually says.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That would be the same. Cicerones are the masters of beer. Sommeliers are masters of wine. There are people that go through all kinds of different classes and that sort of thing, where when they taste something, they can pick out different flavors from that. So in theory, there's people that can figure that out. In my opinion, it's, in a beer, it's really difficult because it's all blended through. You can pick up certain notes and pick up certain things, but can you get 100% down? I don't know. There's people that say they can.
That's pretty cool. Well, hopefully Anon, and keep hitting us with the hard questions. We love them.
Yeah, love beer questions, always.
Yeah, so hopefully that answered it. Also said, if I order a beer, and genuinely I don't like it, I just want to taste it. In fact, I took a little sip.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, hey, I'm with it.
So So let's
Want me to stop?
clarify.
What's going on?
Let's clarify. So if you order a beer and then you didn't like it, did you take a sample of it first, or you ordered it and then you didn't like it?
You know what?
So you
I'm
assumed you know.
gonna pause you, and we're gonna find out what Emily would do, and then you're gonna correct her.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless I answer right.
Nope. Either way, you can answer right, and Sean would still correct you. That's just the type of guy he is.
Okay,
No.
so if someone orders a beer
I'm joking.
and they don't like it,
They don't like it.
Sean has a valid point. Did they taste it first, and then I poured them a full?
Let's go through
pint?
two scenarios. The first one, you pour a full pint without
They say,
tasting it,
I want this.
and then they taste it like,
Okay.
oh, you know what? That's not what I was expecting. I don't really like that. What do you do?
I dump it out and comp their beer and pour them what they want.
Yep. So my biggest argument is, like, did you know that style? Like, if you order an
Yeah.
IPA and you're assuming it's going to be an IPA, and then you get it, you don't like that. Well, it's still an IPA. I mean,
Right.
if you order something weird, something off the wall,
Blackberry ale.
yeah, and you don't know, but you're going to assume that
Just going
and
to
then
go
you-
with it and hope.
Right.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
You
Right.
should have sampled that before,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's also the size of the place. Like, if you're in a tiny, small place and there's only 2 people in there, and they're like, this isn't good. Like, that's a tough spot to be in. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have made that choice. You should have asked, like,
Yeah.
get me
Yeah.
a sample before I get a whole pint of it.
So the good
Absolutely.
beer etiquette for the consumer, let's say, so not from the pourer, not from the beer tender, not from the brewer, the consumer, they misorder, they take a drink. Oh, this wasn't the one I thought. And sometimes you can kind of get confused on the taps every once in a
Yeah,
while.
for sure.
What do they do? What would you
So-
recommend?
You still bring it back up, and honestly, like, I mean, maybe it's not the best etiquette on our side, but like
Yeah.
a lot of times we'll be like, okay, we'll take that beer and we'll just set it aside.
I mean, from a personal standpoint, I would rather you be pour something that you would like to drink and then would bring you back to come, oh, I really liked that. Yeah, I didn't like that one, but I really liked the second one that I was poured.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to try that again or have it again. In my mind, I'm not a business owner, but in my mind, that's enough to me to, okay, I'll dump that and I'll pour you something else.
That's also why we have tasters. You go
True.
in there, you
Do a
taste
flight,
it, or you get a
Or you
flight.
could do a flight. Yep.
taste
And
a
so the
bunch of different-
flights, how much are those usually run you? For someone wants-
right now, $12,
Right?
yeah.
And how many are in that flight?
4 6-ounce pours.
Okay, so they're
Yep.
So you
nice.
get 24 ounces for $12.
Yeah.
You get enough to kind of adjust to it and see whether or not you like it, and
That's
really.
the thing.
kinda-
You have no idea.
yeah.
Like, we have so many like off the wall stuff.
Yeah.
It's
definitely off the wall stuff. I also want to recommend this. If you don't like it the first sip, just wait. Just take a deep breath.
yeah.
Go with a second sip. Still don't like it that much, but it might be growing on you. Just take a time out. Deep breath.
Look at this. I've trained him.
Yeah, you have.
Take that third sip. And by then, if your palate hasn't adjusted to it where you can think, well, you know what, I can probably enjoy this. I may not order it again,
Right.
but I can enjoy it. And then you can always say, hey,
Then maybe it's
I've
not
tried
for
that
you.
beer and I like it or I don't like it. I think it'd be fun just to go through, maybe not in one night, but just go through like, okay, this week or this month, I'm going to have one beer of every flavor. Cause you guys usually have like
We have 10,
7 or 8 or 10.
Yeah, we have 10 taps. Yeah, 10 taps at the 1627 location.
Yeah.
We only have 8 at the 2551.
Do you guys have a thing where, or maybe people can just make it themselves? Like a little passport, not going anywhere, but I've tried this beer, this beer, this beer, this beer.
So when I do my summer short, I plan on bringing the summer short. We're still kind of playing with COVID, but I do a summer short series, and I make a little book that says this is what I'm doing this week, this is what I'm doing next week, and in that book I have a page. It's a tear out page where I like to people like rate it, like how did I like it, like did I like it, did I not like it,
Yeah.
why did I not like it?
Yeah.
Because my summer short is a super short series. I put it on Sunday, and I'm normally out of
There's
it
what, a
by
keg
like
of each?
Wednesday. And it's spaghetti on the wall. I'm trying to figure out this flavor.
Yeah.
Is this something that I want to keep trying to perfect, or is it something that like it's not going to work? That's where the not the blackberry, but that's where the strawberry ale came from. Mango peach came from that.
Honey basil too.
Honey basil
right?
came from that. Yeah.
Huh.
My kumquat beer. Kumquat. I love my kumquat beer, but kumquats are such a pain in the ass. When I do kumquats, everybody in this room are going
Do you
to be
have to
helping
peel
me.
them?
Yeah, and they're a little tiny.
Yep.
So
All right, that's enough
You can
time.
eat
That's
them,
enough
right?
time. All right, let's move on to the.
it takes forever.
Too much work.
We
for
just ran out of
Travis.
time, man. It's great having you on, Sean. Emily, thanks so much, Sean. No, so here's another thing that I was kicking around since we're always thinking of $1 million ideas, and Sean loves these guys. If you have that $1 million idea, walk up to Sean,
Why don't you just make $1 million?
just
on it?
grab
Don't
him by the
talk to me.
shoulders.
As long as you have the $1 million
Yeah.
to back up your $1 million
Right.
idea.
You could probably lift Sean up. He's not that, he's probably like what?
You talk about
Maybe
him.
buck 20. What?
35. Come on now.
So, a bingo card for the summer bingo, to where everyone gets a card, June 1st, and there's so many combinations. But they get that. You order a beer. He spins the thing.
Yeah.
And it goes throughout the entire. And if you do a blackout,
I have a bingo. I planned on doing that.
well, you get
bingo
just
at the brewery.
anytime they order a beer. So and then by the
get a
end,
bingo
whenever
draw,
they get a bingo,
kinda.
if they get one line, it's 5% off a hat or 10% off a hat. Or if they get a
$1 off
blackout,
beer.
it's like
Let's do $1 off a beer.
or just something like that.
There we go. That's,
So-
I was like 5%
Yeah,
off a
I
hat.
know.
But here's the thing: you're gonna make money off of it because it's not just like 1, 2, 3. You're gonna have tons of
True, 'cause you
combinations.
spend-
I'm also
You buy
giving
10
money away.
beers just to get
I
maybe
make
one beer.
millions of dollars by giving money away.
No. You know how many combinations there are of a bingo card? It's not the same card. Everyone's got different. You know how long it takes to get a bingo?
Yeah, someone buys 15 beers and maybe they get a bingo, but their partner
Right.
also bought 15 beers and they don't get a bingo.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Genius.
I see where Travis
Genius
is coming
idea. So sorry that I keep giving you genius ideas. Last question from Anon. Is it a requirement for brewmasters to have some sort of facial hair? Is it true that brewers with a beard brew better beer? Thanks in advance.
Hell yeah. It's not a requirement, but it's there's a certain club that we're in that most brewers have beards. Yes, and if you follow Rogue, I mean they do a beard brew. A lot of people think this is gross, but really, if you know how the brewing process is, you don't actually get any of this, but it does add a little element. They use a Belgium yeast, which is a super strong yeast that takes over most flavors anyway. But all the brewers, they take the wort, they heat it up. Wort is after it's been in the mash tun, you get your nice sweet juice that's going to go to the fermenter and then ferment. But prior to going to the fermenter, then they all get in there and they take their beards and they kind of scratch it. Anybody that knows a beard, ever felt a beard, you get up underneath it and you touch your skin, you can always find some dead skin up in there. And that's called like, your beard slough. And you slough it into there, maybe some hairs in there, and then they transfer it to the fermenter, and then
This makes me never want to drink another beer. in
Yeah,
my
thanks again
life.
for joining us, everyone. We're going to cut Sean off now.
in the transfer there's a filter, so it filters out all of that stuff.
That's
But that's Rogue Brewery down in down
Yeah.
in Oregon. They do beard beer. I forget what it's called, but I think
Beard,
it's beard,
the beer.
Yeah,
Do they have their own podcast, though?
probably.
Oh, dang it. You could always do what Andy said when someone said at Mazalon, someone commented on the Yelp and said, hey, I found a black hair in my... And he said,
I do.
You won't
I
be
read
the-
that whole line. That
you
was-
won't be the first and you won't be the last. Or you weren't the first, you won't be the last.
That was pretty funny.
All right, well, that's all I had from
Take it
Anon.
and run.
You got this chicken scratch over here. What else you got planned?
chicken
We should
scratch?
probably talk to Emily at some point.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our beer tender. So I was about to say like new beer tender, but she's not new. She's been around since March, February,
January
March.
1st.
March.
Yeah, March. So she's been at the tap room for a while. She has her regular days, but she comes in and helps us on busy days as well.
What can I do? It's
Her and her
homework.
husband have been, our Cold Street Brewery Patreons for a long time.
Nice.
So kind of recruited her.
Patrons, not Patreons. But he's I like it.
difference.
I like it. He's getting that word in people's ears right now. Very good, Sean.
So we all know that, we know from earlier that she's from Issaquah.
Yep.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yep. My parents still live in the same house.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I met her parents. Great people.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Selleck, Ravensdale. Went to school,
Okay.
church in Maple Valley. Worked at the Four Corners. Where about in Issaquah? Are you Issaquah?
Tiger Mountain.
Oh, that's not too.
Miramont.
Yeah, that's not too far.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So kind of outskirts of Issaquah, not true.
Right.
Not downtown Issaquah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Now
A little different.
The best thing about Issaquah
Yeah.
growing up was illusions. I'll have to say. I don't know.
Oh
if
my gosh.
Doesn't that take you back?
That was like middle school for
yeah,
me.
yeah. That's where I had. How old are you?
Way younger
Old
than
enough
you.
to know better.
Okay, so when I was 21, I had my, and believe it or not, this marriage didn't work out, but my bachelor party was at Illusions.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what this
We did
is.
like those middle school like
Illusion's
night
like a
out
strip club?
things. No, it's like this like
It was like
GameWorks.
GameWorks. It was like Dave and
Kinda.
Buster's before.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they had some cool.
It was Gold's Gym is there now. I don't know. Actually, I think it's now a different gym. It was Gold's Gym.
Was your senior? Was your guys' senior?
Our senior night was
there?
downtown Seattle.
Oh, you guys were like, let's
we
get
went,
out.
like all different places. We went to like a pool hall.
Well, Issaquah's not that far from
I don't remember.
Seattle.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well,
Closer
my
to
high
Enumclaw
school was
is.
actually in Renton. I went to Liberty,
Oh.
so I wasn't. We were the poor stepchildren of Issaquah.
Yeah, we played
they
Liberty. We fucking crushed them.
Probably.
We don't mention Liberty on this
Anyway,
podcast.
in high school, you played sports. What did you play?
I did. I played golf.
Heck yeah,
actually.
girlfriend. Okay,
Yeah.
so what are you shooting? What are you shooting right now?
You don't want to know.
Are you breaking 100?
No. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I have an excuse. I was pregnant last summer, so
So you're
for
swinging
the season,
you're swinging a baby with that
Yeah.
with that club. I gotcha.
yeah,
Golf better with the baby.
yeah. I'm like around
putting.
100. Not
Okay.
great. Not
Yeah,
too terrible, but
It's
I can't
okay.
keep.
just blame
you
the
know,
wind.
You know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I know from your resume that you worked at a golf course, right?
I did.
What one?
I've worked at two actually. I've worked at Snoqualmie Ridge.
Okay.
I worked
Oh,
in
yeah.
their restaurant.
Yeah,
That's a good.
I played
course,
one
actually.
round there. It's
That's
beautiful there.
That
It's
was
pretty
like
tight.
my home course. My parents have been members there for.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And then I worked at Sandpoint, actually,
Oh,
in
that's
their
another
pro
good
shop.
course.
I don't think
too.
I ever played Sandpoint. Where's
That's
that?
a
Where's
good
that
course.
located?
Seattle.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. On Lake Union. Well, not really.
Wow, that sounds
but
actually
up
like a
above
nice
it, but
nice course
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were
It's
a
another tight course too.
were you a
I was
server?
pro shop.
Pro
No, I
shop?
was pro
Oh.
shop. So I did I was cleaning clubs and picking up balls in the range, kind of thing.
nice?
there.
Did anyone
Yeah.
hit you?
Did they aim for you? I'm
no.
sure they did.
No.
Were you driving a
No.
little cart and all that? And
No.
picking things?
So Sandpoint, their range is super short and it's uphill. So we
Oh.
had to hand pick the entire range.
They didn't have like a thing you could just like
Nope.
pick
Nope.
it up?
We had to do the little pop.
Yeah.
You know, you put it on top of a ball.
Yeah,
and
sucks
yep,
it up. Boop,
Yep.
boop, boop, boop.
Yep.
Wow.
The whole range.
I just got massive respect for you, just through that
Because of golf.
because of golf.
Yep.
Oh.
What's your drive? What are you
You're
doing?
welcome. What do you mean?
What's your drive? Like
How
how
far?
far? For the men's tees.
From the
From the men's tees. Like a third of
To
what
the
you're
150
hitting.
marker every time. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've sat at a range and hit my driver and looked at
So
probably close to 200. I'm not.
dang.
No, okay, but
She
that's from
drips
the
it,
women's
rips it.
tees.
What?
From the women's tees.
Still
Okay. well,
impressed. Last golf question. I'll let you take your podcast over. But I asked this at Garage Night. I think I asked this on Holler with Hollenbeck. But if you could either have a monster drive
mhm.
or B, a monster putting game. Like if you had a monster driving game or a monster
Oh, so
Like
putting
into
game.
get to the green quicker, or
Do I
you
get-
putt on the green?
But do I get to take into consideration what I'm good at right now?
Sure.
Okay, then I'd rather take a monster drive.
You're better at putting right now is what you're saying.
Absolutely. My short game has never been, my putting's not great, but my putting or short game in general is just better than my driving. I just can't
She can't muscle that.
I'm one or the other.
Yeah,
Truly.
I think
like
that's
one year
true.
I'm better
That's
at
true.
driving,
That's
and the
true.
next year my short game's on
Oh yeah.
point.
Yeah.
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 It's always you can't get them both together.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we owe Holly golfing from last year, but she can only do it on Tuesdays at 2 a.m. So
That's fine.
So you may take her place.
I mean,
We
okay.
can play a glow in the dark game.
Dude, I love glow ball.
I love glow
I
ball.
actually would love to do that.
Have you done glow ball yet?
No.
Oh, dude, they have it.
No.
They have it on I think in late August, maybe early September.
Right.
But you.
Enumclaw, right?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah. We
they
should.
have it at Willow's Run up north too.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
They have that
Yeah.
every other weekend, I want to say.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, take it back.
All right, so how did you find Cole Street Brewery? Like, how did you just wander in?
My husband's cousin, I don't know how exactly he found Cole Street, but he's the one that told us. We were golfing. No, I take that back entirely. He's the one that told us about pitas.
Oh, okay.
We were at Elkhead, and we met a guy named Rob. He has come
Rob
into-
Rang. Yeah,
I
Rob.
think so. Is that who we figured out?
Rob
was the
Rang's
same
his
person?
nickname. Rob Churchill.
Yes.
That's his real name.
Yes. We were at Elkhead and just happened to start talking to Rob, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna go down the street to."
I love Rob.
Cole
Rob's
Street.
an awesome dude. He's I think I just told you this recently, so that's
Yeah.
how I jumped on that. As so I was struggling with my front door. So
Yes.
at 1627, my front door is a glass door, and as an office building, it pushed in, and as a public place,
Has to
it
be
needs to
out.
push out in case there's an emergency. And I went through so many people. I know so many people that are like in the construction, industry. They're superintendents. They're like higher up people, and I brought them in and like, how do I fix this door? Like, I need to flip this. Like, do I need to buy a new door? And they're like, oh, yeah, you're gonna have to cut into this frame. I'm like, I really don't want to cut into anything. Like, I don't want to do any of
Want a
that.
quick fix.
And
be
then
done.
randomly, I ran into Rob at the bar. Who doesn't run into people at the bar? And I'm like, hey, that's right, you're a glass guy. So I have a glass door. I was wondering if and he's like, well, let's go look at it. He wanders down. And he's like, oh yeah, we can just do this real quick. Let me go get my suction cup. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but okay. And he goes to his truck, comes back. Literally, it's like a big suction cup. And he walks up and like suction cups the window.
Mm-hmm.
He pulls out his pocket knife and cuts the little seam, pulls out the strips, and literally took my door, flipped it around, and he's like, "You want the top flipped around too?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
So it all matches.
And he flipped everything so it all matched up. He was done with it in like 20 minutes. I spent like 3 months trying to find somebody. Like I contacted like a glass company to do it, and they're like, "Oh, that's going to be like $1,000." I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like I need to find somebody that can do it. He came in,
Do it and be
did
done
it.
with it.
I was like, all right, let's go back to the bar. I bought him like 5 beers and he was perfectly happy. I mean,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm more
Crazy.
surprised by all the beers you bought the guy. That's impressive.
Right?
Well,
you just
I-
need to come up with
I got
something
quoted
that Sean needs.
$1,000. I'll spend $25 or I'll $30 or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Well
just,
worth it.
I'm just joking. That's a great deal.
Yeah. Great guy.
But
Love
yeah,
him.
so we met Rob, and he said, "Hey, I'm going down there if you guys want to come down for another beer." And that was 4 or 5 years ago. Had to have been
Coming to
easily.
the warehouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you've been a regular, and then how did you hear about
yeah.
Mike jumping in?
No,
How did
go
you
for it.
how did you approach her? Like, how did you get?
So basically, it was during the COVID times, and she
Yeah.
saw me running across the street and doing, going to get food.
losing
Yeah.
your mind.
And she's basically like, hey, if you ever really need some help, and I'm like, honestly, I am really at this spot where I need to hire somebody.
Yeah, and we came in. I had just given birth, and my son was maybe 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, Sean, if you ever need someone," I was kind of like half joking,
Do you like
half
it?
being
Yeah,
serious.
yeah. Are you surprised? Like, is it like one of those things where it's like, man, I'm actually glad I kind of said something when I was
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
Wow.
I always said I would never go back to the industry, but like this is the only way that I would have gone back to the industry, and I'm good with that.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's a
Good
nice.
with it.
It's a family app. It's kind of not family.
Oh, for
'cause
sure.
We don't have
It's
kids,
a little
but
more laid back
more, yeah.
of an atmosphere, I guess.
It's friendly
and it's
atmosphere.
kinda-
It's not
yeah.
the bar. So let's talk about your experience. I know
Okay.
this because I've read your resume, but where did you work prior to this? We already talked about the golf course.
Industry specific, yeah. I worked at BJ's Restaurant and Brew House in
Which is a-
Tukwila.
Tequila. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where.
And it's
Yeah.
a big place.
Busy.
Huge.
I had no experience in the industry. I started as a host. That's what I was. And
How long ago was this?
oh gosh, 2014 maybe.
And did you work till
7 years ago?
2016
Right when
or
I
2017?
I was there for maybe 2 years. I don't even think I hit
This
the
is why she
2-year
looks
mark.
familiar. I figured it out.
I probably
Oh, you
served
go in
you
there.
like many
my
times.
second marriage, my current one, placeholder for my third one. I always say current wife because I don't know how long this one's gonna last, so I gotta like kind of just it's on rotation, right? She doesn't listen.
Okay.
Actually, she does, and she's heard this
We'll
joke
tell her to listen to this one.
a zillion times. But we on our when I got engaged that day, we took a helicopter ride up
You
over
trust those
Seattle.
things?
I do because Justin Heater was working on it, and I saw Justin Heater. We went to the casino, and then but for the dinner, we also took a tour of the Seahawks stadium. Saw Richard Sherman's family there, and then we went to it was Questfield at the time.
Wow.
I just did it. I did it all. Just freaking. And then we went to BJ's at Tukwila.
You did all of that, and then you go to BJ's. For dinner.
She loves
Right.
BJ's.
Well, they have
Well,
a
All
huge
right,
menu.
all right.
I didn't know it was a
Like
restaurant.
Spiral.
It's
That's
really
so
not
bad.
a brewery.
No,
They
no.
buy
That's
those
why
there,
you
but-
said, okay, I'll take you to
She
BJ's.
loves BJ's, and I thought she meant the restaurant. There's the joke,
Waka waka waka.
but no, she really did.
BrewHaha.
And I think you sat us. You look familiar. I think you sat us.
I very well may have.
Maybe.
So you're a
sort of-
host. You
So I
were-
worked I started
Hostess.
as a hostess, and then I became lead hostess. So I was clearly good enough to get my way into that.
Heck
And then they moved me I talked to my manager. I said, you know what, I want to do more. And she said, okay, we'll move you into a food runner. So I had to go through, BJ's is huge corporate, all this kind of things. You have to be following their rules and their just standards to a T. And I'd never worked a job where you were so like held accountable for that kind of work ethic,
that's
I guess.
crazy, yeah.
And so she said, okay, we'll move you to food runner. You have to take the test, so you need to start studying the menu. So she gave me a menu, and this is a spiral notebook
I know that's what I was going
kind
to
of
ask.
menu.
Did you have to memorize the menu and know
Yes.
everything that's on the
Yes,
menu?
I knew
That's a
everything that
huge
was on the
menu.
menu. And so I had to start, took the tests, and then I was food runner, and then eventually I moved into serving. But because of the huge, just the capacity that restaurant was, I was like, you know what? I'm not really into this. I'm good. I'll pass. And then that was kind of like, okay, I did this for a few months as a server at that point, and then moved on. I think that was when I kind of moved to the country club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you for this job at Cole Street? Are you also a runner, so to speak? If someone walks in and says, "Hey, I want to grab some,"
Yeah, she goes.
Oh,
get
yeah.
food.
so you do.
yeah.
So you do go that too. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
So you brought her back
Like,
into the food industry.
We
Thanks a
all-
lot, Sean.
Unfortunately.
Everybody
buddy.
crosses over on
No,
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I really had for questions for you. I mean,
Okay.
I-
Well, Sean, I have a question for you.
I
There we go.
appreciate you. Okay. Go.
Okay.
What's
so,
IBUs?
What? No. Okay.
What's IBUs?
I'm
Yeah,
joking.
Travis,
We
answer
just
the
talked
question.
about it. It's International Brew
No.
a university, and you go there to learn the science of the hops. You go to Hoppy Hour down there in Wenatchee. It's in the Cascades, and they have different things that you can brew with your beard. Sometimes you'll get some skin flakes in there.
Wow, look at you. You have been listening to
And
me.
then
Picked up everything I've
Even
said.
though he's on his phone, he's
Yeah.
listening to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a few people that can actually taste how many skin flakes are in
Or know what color
or
hair
know what color
you
it is.
have.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then-
wow.
And every once in a while,
That's a
if you don't
talent
like
right
it,
there.
if you don't like it, you can take it back and say, hey, but I would recommend the 3-sip routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
IBUs.
Oh,
Back to my question.
Sorry about that.
For Sean, beer related.
not for Travis.
I'll answer this one. Sean, take a seat. Travis, you're logging in.
All right, let's go. Let's see what you got on
Okay,
this.
hit
Okay.
me, and then I'll hit him.
Travis.
Yeah,
What is
pinch hitting.
the
Travis
worst part of brewing, or your most hated part of brewing?
It's the beer. It's the beer tenders. They're always complaining.
No,
They're
the
nonstop
brewing
complaining.
process.
They always want this day off. They always want
Staff
that.
staff is a very difficult element to any business.
I could handle.
any business.
I could handle any
Not just beer tenders.
inanimate object where I am just cleaning and brewing through. I'll take that over than actually having to manage humans. Sean, take it over from here.
So in the brewing process, we don't have to deal with humans. We deal with grain. I mean, I feel like a lot of people, most of the people in the industry would probably, their response would be like cleaning fermenters. So fermenters can be pretty tough. Depends on what you're doing. So like a Hefeweizen is horrible. It's so tough because it's a very warm fermenting, and it gets hot in there because it's actively creating foam and stuff, and then it creates its own heat. So then all that foam sticks to the
It's
side.
like cooked to it.
Yeah, so when you get in there, you got to really scrub it. That's definitely difficult. But in my opinion, that's not the worst thing about the brewing process. The worst thing is kegs. I've talked about this
Cleaning
before.
the kegs and all that.
Cleaning the kegs
Maintaining
is
them.
so specific. You have to make sure 100% that those kegs are cleaned. And cleaning kegs is not an easy thing. So I have a keg cleaner now. When I first started, we used to there's a shaft that goes right down the middle, and you have to pop that seam out. And one keg, it could take you like 10 seconds to get that little thing out, to get the shaft out. And the next one, it could take like 10 minutes. So time consuming.
It takes me so long sometimes
Travis
But-
doesn't know what he's talking
to get the
about.
shaft out.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm talking golf.
But then now
You can't get it out of your bag.
I can't
You
get-
should probably.
I've got too
clean
many
your
clubs
bag.
in there, and sometimes I'm just ripping on that
you
shaft.
You know,
and I
there's
just,
only
There's a
certain amount of
14
clubs
club
you should have.
limit.
Yeah.
not me. Not this isn't the PGA, baby. I will just grab any driver that I've ever shot
I'm
with
never
a great
playing in a
shot. I got
tournament
like
with
5
you.
drivers in my club.
Get
Or my bag.
disqualified immediately.
This 9.2 is hitting hard right now. When I would know that.
Clearly.
Anyway, go back to your shaft. What were we talking about? Your shaft?
So now
goes in
I have a keg washing system, but it's still physical. You have to grab that keg, you have to flip it over, put it on there, and then there's certain steps. I go through 5 different steps, and if you screw up in any of those steps and you like lose track of where you are, you should definitely start over.
Start over.
Are you kidding me?
How many
It's-
steps are there?
There's 5. There's only 5
Oh.
steps to.
But
cleaning a
still,
keg.
how long is each step typically?
Yeah. So I have a timer for each one, and I don't know. 3 of the steps are 15 minutes, and the other ones are 10.
Have you ever had to restart where you like forgot where you were at?
Yep. And it's also like there's different
He was
valves
not
you got to
saying
turn.
that.
There's different valves, and then you turn the wrong
That's
valve, and you're like,
terrible.
oh shoot, I just turned that valve, so now it's pushing
Supposed to
that
be the
caustic
other.
back in there.
Okay.
I got to start all over.
You're
But
so mad.
it has to be done that way, and that's where it is. It's
That's when you could get a good beer in a bad keg.
yeah, and then
Okay.
100%. I take my great beer and I put it in a
Yeah.
bad keg, and
Yeah.
then it's a bad beer. So it's 100%
Do you
the
dump
most
the
important.
entire keg at that point?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You
You
can't.
can't-
there's no
saving
There's
it.
no.
Out of anger
That's
and frustration?
awful.
Both. Yes.
Are you,
All of the above.
how loud are the cuss words? Or are they whispered?
You can hear me kick the keg and roll the keg, and that's pretty loud.
That's
When's
as
the
loud as
last
it-
time you did that?
He's got a metal foot, by the way.
It's been a
Been
couple
a few
years
years.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Good.
I'm very
Good.
I'm very
On top of doing your own.
I'm very
kegs?
anal. We'll just say anal.
Oh yeah, your
Anal
shaft
about it.
and your
I'm
anal.
Very
You're very anal with your shaft. I've noticed as well.
yeah.
These jokes are great.
Travis
They are
thinks
not.
it's so funny.
I made so many
He
jokes
brings
today.
he's trying
I
to bring
finally
the,
brought it.
He's really
Okay, fine.
trying to bring the ha-ha.
Enough with him. What's your ha-ha? You tell us your ha-ha.
Oh, that's right.
How many do I get?
I've been crushing it over here.
You
So
got
good
6.
luck,
Well, you got
According
6
to
minutes
you.
total, but we're gonna yank you at 4 if you aren't making the ha-ha.
dude.
Okay.
Yeah, they.
I'm sorry. Where's that growler? Is there any more beer?
I don't know if I need it anymore.
I need way more.
You want me? I'm gonna nurse it to you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not even
Tit fill
like.
me.
I pumped this earlier. It's called a pump
That's
and dump.
not even how it's done.
It's called a pump and dump.
No,
That should be a beer name.
that's not a bad one.
No.
All
Okay,
right.
Travis, are you listening?
Always and forever.
I don't believe that.
I'm
But okay.
doubtful.
So I tell my wife.
As he's working on this.
It's pump and dump. How much does a chimney cost?
Ooh, hold on, wait a second. How much does a chimney cost? It costs.
Think it too hard.
No, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. It's gotta be a sweet, maybe. No, maybe it might be a. What's in the bottom of a?
Can I just give you the answer?
Yeah, just
because
give me
you're
the
wrong.
answer. Just give me the answer.
Nothing. It's on
Nothing.
the
It's
house.
on frost. What's that?
It's nothing. It's on the house.
It's on the house. That's actually a good one. I actually like that one.
You should put that in your repertoire.
That's a good one. I got a really good. Yeah, that's a good one.
You're welcome.
Keep,
Got a really good one to go back at her.
dude. I got a great one. I just really.
Okay.
But no.
Do it. Go.
No, it's
No,
a,
go.
It's a long
Come on.
one. It's a long one.
You got to bring. Oh, it's a long,
It's a long one. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Why
Forget it
is
then.
dark spelled with a K and not a C?
This sounds racist.
It's not. I censored these.
Because L
Where does L
and
come in?
LMNOPs.
You can't see in the dark.
Oh gosh, that's good.
Ah.
That's really good. You're blowing my mind.
Touche.
All right.
I'm not laughing.
No, but
Okay.
here's the thing. These are funny.
Emily's bringing the ha-ha.
These are funny riddles. I like them.
I just need to bring Emily on to bring the ha-ha.
Probably should.
Jeez.
Keep
You're
going.
welcome.
Well, give me one more.
Okay, one more.
Or I don't care. 10. I'm all day with these.
Why don't they play poker in the jungle? Because we're sitting at a poker table. So
Why don't they poker in the jungle? Because ace of spades. What do we got here? Kings, queens, diamonds. There's hearts, and there's
Diamonds in the jungle. I thought that was in Africa.
diamonds. Yeah, because there's some with diamonds.
there's too many cheetahs.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow, those are good.
Okay, great
You're
Laffy
welcome.
Taffy right there.
Okay, here's mine.
Totally Laffy Taffy jokes.
Okay, here's my joke. Okay, this is back in the day.
It's gonna be long.
This is the Old West. It'll be quick. I'll keep it underneath a minute. It's the Old West. It's Wells Fargo. You know what, guys? What a Wells. This would kill by about 100 years ago, 200 years ago.
Well,
Yes, I
Fargo
know
with
who
the-
Wells Fargo is.
But it's the wagon.
stagecoach.
It's the stagecoach that they drive everywhere.
Okay.
All right, so this guy is in like San Francisco and he's doing the gold rush, but he's lost all his money and he needs to get back to Texas. And so he's walking along the wooden streets of San Francisco and he sees on the side of a building these different parchments up there that say like help wanted, help wanted. And one said help wanted, Wells Fargo ride shotgun with a shotgun. And you ride it all the way down to Texas. Come down here, take this job, go down to Texas, get paid for it. You guys like, great.
Boom. Yeah.
I'm
That's
in.
the way I gotta go.
Got to go there anyway. Get paid for it. Ride shotgun. So he applies, he gets it, gets on the wagon. It's getting driven by a team of horses, and he's given a shotgun. And he goes, "What am I doing with this thing?" They're like, "Well, if someone's trying to rob you, if anyone's trying to get at you, you got to scare them off. Take some shots at them, and I'll tell you when to take some shots at them because you're new. I'll tell you when to start shooting at them because people try to rob us." Perfect. So they get going. Okay. About halfway through the trip, he sees off in the distance a guy riding behind him, off in the distance. He goes, "Someone's following us." He goes, "How far away is he?" He's like, he's way far. He's like this big. He's like this big. He shrinks his hand up. He go, no, no, it's too far away. It could just be a guy just riding the trail. Don't worry about it. So they get going. This guy's riding faster. This guy can see a mask on him. So he's got a mask on. He's got a little bandana tied around. I think he's going to rob us. And he's like, well, how far away is he? He's like this big. He's like this big back there. No. Too far away. Won't even scare him. But we'll get going faster. So they get going. To get faster. Guy right behind him. Guns drawn. Aiming at them. Guy's like, dude, I gotta shoot at this guy. This guy's right here. He's gonna rob us. He's got his guns drawn. He's like, well, how far away is he? He's like, this big. He's like, right there. All right, take a shot. So the guy raises his rifle, shotgun, aims it at the guy, and drops the gun. Says, I can't do it. And he's like, why? Why not? He goes, because I've known the guy since he was this big.
It was like the longest joke ever, and it was not satisfying.
It was for
It just
Sean.
wasn't.
Sean almost spit out his beer.
Yeah, he did.
It did catch me by surprise. I grew up with him. He was this big.
There you go, guys. You guys had to be here to watch the.
Because you can't see the hand.
It's a hand thing.
Yeah.
You guys can't
This
see
big
it.
to this big.
I feel like I'm funnier than you.
You were. You crushed
Emily
it.
is way funnier.
Looking. But,
You're funny looking.
oh, shots fired.
He was looking at you when he said it.
I know, but I said it about you.
Oh,
I didn't
You
say
didn't,
it.
you didn't hear it. No, it's
fine.
okay.
I don't
Funny
believe
looking.
you.
It's okay. Emily's my new best friend because we're going to play golf together. I'm a crusher, too, because I sometimes break 100.
Yeah,
and you're gonna
same.
be like, well, if you play from the girls' teams, I gotta play for the girls'
Yeah,
teams
that's
too.
absolutely legit.
You
In
wanna
fact,
play from the Reds?
I'm all about
Okay.
equality. And I'm all about equality. That's just, hey, I'm just a guy. I'm sorry. Call me a feminist. I'm
Then
a
you
feminist.
should play from the Blacks.
Then-
I'll play from the Reds.
No, you can play
Medium
from.
Cloud doesn't have blacks.
Yeah.
What's their farthest? Blue?
White.
White?
They don't have any blues. It's all white. It's white,
Just
red,
white.
white, red,
White,
yellow.
red.
Every once in a while, there's a junior
Oh, okay.
yellow. Everyone is so confused on that golf stuff. They probably thought it was getting racist, and we stayed away from it.
Yeah.
Credit to us. All right, let's do
Credit
shout
to
outs.
you.
We're doing credit to me.
Well, so I was
Absolutely.
gonna start with so I brought this in here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Yeah, it's Dez. It's a. Go ahead. You
I have
explain.
a nice pillow from a pillow mate. So I wanted to throw this in on this episode because it's the next episode after we announced that Des passed away. So at this point, Des passed away like over a month ago. So I'm, I love my dog. I had her for 20 years. But at this point, I'm, pretty at home with it. She passed away. So Erica Marsh,
Yeah.
Erica Marsh and I dated for well over a year, and so she spent a year with Des, and so she was pretty
So
attached.
she got you.
She was pretty attached to Des as well, and so she took one of the pictures of Des and she made it into a pillow.
That's cute.
When I first got it, I was like, I don't know, I didn't entirely like it, but
Does
then
she listen to this podcast? If
She
don't
probably
be
will.
offended?
Yeah.
I didn't entirely
turns
like
out
it.
good. Yeah.
But it kind of grew on me.
What's the
So-
back look like? Is it the back of?
So I put it on a pew, and then I'd go
Sitting
outside
over by the games.
and I go like throw stuff in the dumpster, and then I come back in and I walk across the room and I'm like, oh, Des is on the pew. I need to put her on the floor. Like, oh no, that's not Des. That's
Oh.
pillow of Des.
And you've got a little necklace around it.
So the necklace has like, if you shine light through it, it's another picture of Des, and it does like a little projection of it.
Wow.
I mean, it's great. I really appreciate that she did that. So shout out for Erica Marsh.
Thank you, Erica. It's
that
very, very sweet.
Then on top of that, I have this little keychain that goes in my pocket. So it's another picture of Des, and then it has like a little saying on it, says Des forever in my heart.
Aw.
It's a nice little, keepsake that goes in my pocket, so I can just wander around with it anytime, and pull it out.
Rick
What
and
a
Heather,
year.
right?
And that's from Heather and Rick.
Yeah.
I don't know their last name.
It's okay.
I know their last name, but it's
Zaplinsky. I think that's how you say it.
yep.
Is
she's
it
got
Mike?
Correct me if
Mike
not.
Sliplinsky's?
No.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
his brother. Yeah. Yeah, so it's Polish. I don't know how to say it, those Polish names. But big shout out to them because they did the same thing. They gave me like a really nice keepsake.
Yeah.
Both of them are like, when I first get them, I'm like, I don't know if I really
Want these
And now
for
you're
a
like,
moment.
this. But at the
in my
same
daily
time,
life.
It's sweet.
Love it.
it does. Yeah.
It's hard, man. That whole thing's
It's a
hard to navigate.
reminder.
Yeah.
What a weird 2020, 2021, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on, and then a lot of stuff behind the scenes a lot of people don't realize, and so
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it all works out in the end. So I just want to shout out those 3 people. So Erica Marsh and then Heather and Rick
Zaplinski. I think
yeah.
that's how you say it.
Zaplinski.
This,
Yeah.
this C is
I don't know.
silent.
Great people.
Yeah. My shout out
Yeah.
is Seth Loop.
Dude, Seth Loop is a Patreon as well.
Is he
Oh, is
really?
he really?
Yes,
No
he is.
way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, cool.
So you brought this up before. I know Seth
Yeah.
Loop very well. How do you know Seth?
So Seth worked for my husband's grandfather's construction company for a number of years, and then now he's with the city of Auburn. But he worked for
I hear he's
Scotty's
the biggest
Construction.
dick in Auburn, but
Oh,
he's very strict about his.
Oh, I
rules.
thought you were meaning like the anatomy wise.
No.
Okay,
He's-
all right.
no,
I got
he's
you.
brr,
Okay,
brr, brr. He keeps people in line.
interesting.
got you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Wait, who is this? Seth
Seth Loop.
is
Seth
the biggest
Loop.
dick in Auburn.
For sure. He
That-
keeps
I would get
everybody
it.
in line. He's the one that makes
Seth-
stuff happen.
Seth, listen. So Seth, get yourself a license plate cover. On the back of it say
This
I'm the
is
big
Seth.
man in
biggest
town.
dick
Boom.
in Auburn.
I've known Seth a long Seth and I graduated together,
Yeah.
and his wife Kelly.
Oh,
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long, long time. We played
Okay.
football, like Pee Wee football,
Yeah.
and
yeah. No,
and-
I
and
was
then his
just.
son's
I just think it's so
baseball
cool
now.
that he was the assistant football coach this year. I think
Yeah.
that working with teenagers is not an easy thing,
No, for
and there's something to be said about someone
Then,
who's willing to do that in any capacity.
This
so
this
think it's
springtime,
cool.
so softball starts like a week from now, maybe 2 weeks from now. Starts in June, and Seth will be playing on our team, and then
Oh,
his son will be
very
too.
cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, 'cause
like
his
having
son's
both
old
Loops.
enough now.
Yep.
Yeah.
to do.
18 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the young buck.
Very cool.
So Seth also, if you listen to Holler with Hollenbeck, that was the only touchdown that Joey was very close to scoring in his entire career. Wazoo, NFL, EHS was a fumble, and he was like, I think when Joey tells it, he's like 10 yards off the goal line. He was ready to scoop it up and run it in. And right when he was about to have his hands on the ball, he said his eyes were as wide as saucers, ready to run it in. Here comes Seth Loop running right through him, picking it up.
A little
and
bit
then
faster,
run- and
a
then
little
run-
bit better hands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he loves him. He hates him. No, but he doesn't hate him. It's just that story. Almost scored a touchdown. Only career touchdown. It was gone. Stolen by Seth Loop. I'm going to give a shout out as well. I want to shout out Emily for coming down,
You're welcome.
being a part of the pod,
Dealing with Travis.
dealing with me. She's
Not an
very
easy
sweet. One day, and she's going to remember this. She may have even heard it on the pod. I was walking out, and the sun was in my eyes.
You are full of excuses, Travis. I
Son,
still do not.
tears.
I heard
I
you
had
say that on that
tears.
podcast. I do
There
not
was so
believe
much
you.
sun in
Nope.
my eyes.
Nope.
And
You
I-
didn't recognize me, and that's
I
okay.
couldn't see. It was a silhouette. You're
Be
like, hey,
honest.
Travis. And I'm like, hold on. I can't even see right now. How are you even?
Oh my god, I roll.
And then she goes, it's Emily. And I go, oh. And I go,
Emily.
You didn't even know who I was
Emily,
still.
Emily, what?
It's fine.
And she's like, Emily
fine.
Scott. And I'm like, okay, good seeing you.
And then I said, I'm one of the beer tenders here.
And then at that point, I realized that it wasn't. It was Emily who I just met like that week. Okay, I met her that week.
That's fair. That's fair. It was like maybe 12 days.
And I said, "Wait, did
earlier.
you
She
see
remembered
me
your
at
name.
BJ's
So-
once? I think you sat me on my when I got engaged with my wife over in Tukwila.
You never said that until tonight. So
I remember
on
things
you.
differently.
That's on you.
That's on me. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to another episode. Emily, it was great having you on. Sean, thank you for being the nerdy beer geek that we need, that Anon was all about.
So I need to say, you need to finish your beer, sir.
How many of these are there? All right.
Jeez.
Cheers. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy your Tuesday. I'll be in Vegas. Love you guys.
All right, cheers.
Making your
Cheers.
way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to Two Guys Brew Ha Ha, Cold Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode?